What's up, gang? So last week we talked about impatience. Guess what we're going to talk about today? Patience. So we're 2 days into this trading weekend. It's been overall just a solid week for me. Coming off some issues I had last week, I've traded. I've decided to size up and do a couple more things with my trades. I'll get into that as we break down the actual trades I got into. I didn't make a video yesterday. It was Easter Monday. Went and did an Easter egg hunt with Miles. It was his first Easter egg hunt, which was awesome. It was super cool to see him with other kids just running around and collecting Easter eggs. So yeah, I didn't make a video yesterday, so I'll go over the trade I took yesterday morning and go from there, and then we'll get into the trade I took today. But let's just have a look at what the market's been doing and what I was focusing on these last couple of days, or even what I just saw this morning when I got to the desk. So let's just get into this. So coming to the desk this morning, you can clearly see now, back down here, you'd be looking at wanting to be bearish, thinking we set in a lower low. But now when you look at this, and I zoomed out quite a bit, and we can go all the way back to these lows from last week before this tariff pause, the news came in. That's this red VWAP here, and that's this obviously massive move up. But you can technically look at this now, and we can even still just want to call this a higher low. And yesterday looked quite bearish. I took a short just after market open and wrote it down. And and then price did end up pulling back and turning around at the end of the day. But as you can see, I took this short here yesterday, and then price kind of bottomed out here, and then we get this pushback up. And so if you look at the chart, this is basically the value area low, point of control, yesterday's point of control, yesterday's value area high. And price comes back into it at the end of the day. The overnight session opens up, and we're above this point of control. We come up, take the value area high, kind of chop around there for a bit, but the whole time we're above the start of day VWAP. And then up here, this is Friday's New York VWAP. I still had this on my chart. And you can see price rejects off it cleanly there, and it did the exact same thing on NQ. So just something I wanted to be aware of heading into the open today. But clearly looking at this chart, we're above the value area high now. We're above the start of day VWAP. This is looking bullish. There's no reason to be looking any other way. But again, in these market conditions, we just got to be careful. So we'll approach it like I have been these last probably 3 or 4 weeks now with all this tariff stuff going on, and just be cautious. Again, you don't want to come in with too heavy of a bias, because this thing could do anything on you. And that's that, yeah. So let's just get into the actual trades and what I did. So we'll quickly just have a look at a trade I took yesterday. And it was just basically this short. And as you can see here on the 15-minute time frame, we're below all of my levels. We're below the value area low, the previous day's point of control, the value area high, below the start of day VWAP. So there's nothing telling me to lean long, but again, like I said, in these market conditions, anything can happen. And so as you see, price opens, and immediately we get below the New York VWAP. We kind of get this push back up to here, and we kind of tap it again. I'm looking at the shorts, and I want to be patient. I would have got in here somewhere probably, usually in the past, but I said, you know what, I got to wait for a little more confluence. I want price to pull back up to the New York VWAP. And so as we set in this low, I threw a low a day VWAP on, and lo and behold, the next candle prints, and it pushes all the way back up to the New York VWAP. And this was actually some sort of weird, it wasn't a news pin. I don't know what it was, but the volume just came in hard. But as you can see, the buyers tried and failed. The sellers said, not a chance. You're not going to get back above the New York VWAP. We're going to stuff you there. And look at that pin. Just pulls it all the way back. And sellers are clearly in control. And then again, the next candle prints, and we still get another move up. Buyers fail again. Third one, buyers fail again. And as we get below the low day VWAP here, I decide to get short. There's nothing telling me to be long. People would think to put their stop up here above the opening range high, but with price action like this and the sellers being in this control, if we get a strong move back over the New York VWAP, I'm going to be looking to be out of the trade. I can look for a re-entry, but I don't want to be in this when the sellers are in such control here, and then the buyers step in. If the buyers put any pressure on the sellers here and just take them, and for all you know, we could get something like that, and then a little bounce there and come down again, and then just smokes up. In these market conditions, you can expect that. You got to be ready for anything. So like I said, I'm not I'm not moving I'm not having a stop up here. I'm not putting a ton of risk on. I know here if the buyers step back in these volatile conditions, we could easily have a move back up and I could get tapped out here for a full loss. Why do I need that? And I decided to size up this week. That's something I really wanted to focus on. I'm focusing on trading one account only, and that is my TopOne Futures 150K straight to funded account. I'm not flipping between Tradeify and TopStep anymore. I just want to focus on this account. I want to focus getting this to my profit target and hopefully taking a payout. So I'm really impressed with the Project X and how smooth the software is and how easy and user friendly it is for being a new trader and being able to, you know, take profits, move your stops, and everything just works together. You don't have floating orders. You don't have issues like on TradeEvade. If you have a floating order, something sitting around, you forgot to close a buy limit or something, or a stop, something, you never know. And it's happened with me in the past with TradeEvade, and I actually blown 7 evaluation accounts like that. So it's nice. Project X for a new trader. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. TopOne Futures. I'm loving these guys since they started. I got a discount code down in the description below. 50% off all the accounts. You're not going to find a deal like that. You're basically $400 for $6,000 a drawdown, a 150K straight to funded account. That's insane. But let's get back into the trade before I get sidetracked. I could talk about this stuff forever. And yeah, so we get this push down here, and clearly the price is just sliding. And it's Monday morning for me. It's a bank holiday. You know, I was thinking the volume wasn't going to be there. Who knows what's going to happen? Clearly, the buyers weren't there. We know that. The buyers were all taking the day off. And the sellers were the only ones trading, it seems like. But here I decided to take half off. I'm 10 micros. I'm basically 1 mini. And the reason I didn't trade 1 mini is I like trading the 10 micros because it gives me a little bit of room to manage the trade and be able to size off and take profits here and just, you know, and you'll see as this trade played out. If I had a mini on, who knows how I would have managed it. When I get to 2 minis, it'll be a different conversation, but that is the goal moving forward. And I take half off here. I just want to secure some of the gains. Who knows? This thing could do anything at any point in time. And as price keeps coming down, price just chops around here at this level for a bit, for 3 or 4 minutes. And you know what? I'm looking for $500 to $800 for my consistency target for this account to keep me within the goal I want to hit. So once we got down to 750 and I saw this price movement here, I said, you know what, I'm good, I'm content, and I closed the trade there. I was okay with it. I wasn't liking this. It could have done anything, and look what it did. It went lower. But you know what? I could have stayed in here. It could have came here and could have came up back up to this original low a day. And the reason I have a low a day VWAP here is something I want to explain. It's something I haven't talked about and something I've been watching. So clearly here, this low a day VWAP now has set in. The sellers are trying to take this opening range low. The sellers are in control under the New York VWAP. If we can cut this low a day VWAP and cut this opening range low, sellers are in full control. And the reason I left this on is if we got to move back up to here, I would look to exit the trade, because I know if we get back above this and the buyers can find a way to step in, we could easily do that, and you know, you're back to break even. So just something I've been doing on my entry. I keep my, either it's a low a day VWAP or high a day VWAP, and just look at the trade from there. And just use it as something that's on my chart, watching me for an exit or something if I think price is going to turn on me. But anyways, like I said, I'm up 750 in the account, 1 trade, 1 and done, locked out, and done trading for the day. And I actually enjoyed Easter Monday, and it was beautiful. It was just, yeah, like I said, it was Miles' first Easter egg hunt. It was just a beautiful day. So that ended my day there. And getting into today's trade, I just, again, 1 trade. And here we are, and all these things I was looking at, like I said, we're above the value area high. This is my 15-minute chart. It's always open beside me. It's something I look at. It's something I use for, you know, just to see trade management, entry, exit, just to see where price is doing. And this was that, like I said, Friday's New York VWAP. And look at this clean rejection. NQ did the exact same thing. So there's something clearly at this level or at this VWAP that's, you know, the sellers are trying to keep control of this level. And you know, we had this push all through the overnight session and everything's looking bullish. And here we go into the New York Open. We get price and it kind of chops around here for a few minutes. But again, like I said, there was no reason for me to look short bias. We're above, oh, look at the VWAP alignment. We're above start of day. Now, once we get above the New York VWAP here, this was an interesting, you know, I would think you'd want to get long here. You see this doji candle, just a little bit of indecision, but is that going to go to the upside, downside? Who knows? So I let this candle print. I let the next candle print. And the third one, you can see we get this bullish candle now off of the New York VWAP. We're above the New York VWAP, opened above it. Everything is just, this is the price I want to get in at. I'm going to clearly watch this level. If we reject hard off this level, I could cut the trade here, but I got, with this tight opening range like we used to trade without this volatility, this is an 11-point stop. It's what I want to trade 10, 15 point stops with 10 micros. You know, it's $500 to $600 of risk, and I'm good with that. So here we take this Friday's New York VWAP, this level that was here that price rejected off of, and as soon as we took it, and we took it with some buying strength, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen here. Is this going to want to pull down here and then do that again? So again, being patient and cautious, I said, you know what, let's just take half off. I got enough size on here. I can let this go. Let's see what happens. And price just keeps going. I'm got half my risk off. Stops locked at break even. We get up to here and we set in this new high a day. And at this level, I throw a high day VWAP on. It's something I said, like watching for my exit. And you see this, the high day VWAP kind of there. And I decide to take 4 more off. I think it was at 65. And my original target was 60. So now I take 4 more off. I got 9 of the 10 contracts off. My stop is now brought up to this Friday's previous day's New York VWAP. And I got my low a day anchor on. I'm going to leave 1 contract on to run. You know what? I'm going to let this go. Currently, I'm sitting at 500, and I believe it was $10 was my realized P&L. So I was, like I said, 500 to 800 is kind of the goal I'm shooting for. Somewhere in there, I'm happy. So at 500, I'm happy. If this comes back to break even, here I'll get a little bit of profit, not much, but I'll take that risk. And now as we move up and we get these legs up, I move my stop up to here. This next leg up, you can see it. See this where it's holding the low day VWAP again, or sorry, high day VWAP. The buyers are saying, whoever bought up here, it gets down to here, they're going to load up some more and they're going to push this price back up. They don't want to come in to below this, then they're losing money. And again here, so what I did was I just moved my stop up to there, the next level there, the next level there, and as price pushed up here and we took the 80s, and we have this little bit of a pullback, initial balance is set, we get this next push up, and basically $700. I've been in this trade for an hour, and I don't need the extra $50 for this next chunk of the move up, because 5,300 was my original target after we had all this bullish momentum, and it's bookmap, everything's telling me at 5,300 it's going to take it. And here at basically 90, I said, you know what, I'm going to be up 700 on this trade. I don't want to give anything back. Initial balance is set. We could easily get a pullback down to here and then back up. I don't want to sit in this anymore. I'm going to get stopped out here anyways. So why not just take profits? Close the trade. I'm up $700. And as you can see, if anybody that was trading, I don't have it open, but price just kept pushing higher and higher and higher. And when you have moves like that and you can be okay with them and be content about it, it's going to make a big difference in your trading. When you understand and realize you don't need to catch all of the move, it's going to make a big difference in your trading. Because if you micromanage these moves and try and get, stay in the trade and then get stopped out and leave a bunch of money on the table because you got stopped out back at, like you left 10 points because it pulled back on you and stopped you out, you're eventually going to say you're okay with it. But I've been there and I've done that, and the emotions take over, and it takes a toll on you mentally. So like I said, again, one and done for the day. I'm up $700. I can't complain with that. And coming and looking at the start of the week, it's I'm not upset with it at all. Like this month is turning out really, really nice right now. I'm quite happy with my trading. I had some mistakes last week where I was flipping between the 2 accounts that was costing me. But again, look, like this is how I want to trade. I want to have a big green, 1 trade, be done for the day, and work my way towards that goal. And we got 1, 2, 3, 5 more, 5 more days of me trading before I'm going to be leaving a Tampa on the 30th for the ASFX boot camp. So I got 5 more days to trade, and let's see what happens. And we hit that profit target. We do, we don't, right? It is what it is. We just got to, stay focused, stay disciplined, and follow the process. So looking forward to it, and I will definitely, click that subscribe button. Like I said, that TopOne Futures, that 50% off discount code, I don't know how long it's going to go, hopefully till the end of the month. So if you're really on the fence about getting one, you're not going to find an account like this again. Sorry, a discount like this again, because it'll probably go to 40% or 30%. So it's a smoking deal. So get on it while you can, and comment. I love the comments. I love the feedback. Subscribe, follow along, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow for the next video. Cheers.